Come on in, come on in. Hello, everybody. Welcome to No Offseason Media. I'm Imari Jackson. Week 2 in the NFL is finally here. I want to wish a speedy recovery to Aaron Rodgers after the MRI confirmed that he had a torn Achilles. And also, I want to give a tip of the cap to the New York Jets for falling through and beating the Buffalo Bills, and especially a great gratitude to Xavier Gipson, who returned a punt return for a touchdown to beat the Buffalo Bills. Week 1 is great. I had a great week last week, had a winning week. Let's shoot for another. Let's grind and let's get this money. First game, Minnesota Vikings at the Philadelphia Eagles. Minnesota is a 7-point dog in this matchup. I'm taking the Vikings to cover, but I like the Philadelphia Eagles to win. Number one, I know what it comes with. Why would you bet Kirk Cousins in this matchup? You know how Kirk is in prime time. Let's check out Kirk Cousins' stats here. When it comes to Kirk Cousins, yes, he has an awful record at 4-5. He has a touchdown interception ratio to 17-12, a completion percentage of 68.6, and a passer rating of 94. So Kirk isn't bad. He just plays against really good teams. But in this matchup, I just really like the Vikings here. Justin Jefferson and Jordan Addison going up against Darius Slay and hopefully potentially James Bradbury. I don't know, but if they were allowing New England receivers to get wide open in Philadelphia's defense, what do you think those two wide receivers on the Vikings are going to do? So I really like the Vikings to cover this game, but overall, I'm going to take the Eagles to win it outright. Give me Philadelphia to win 27-24 over the Vikings. First Sunday's game, we have the Green Bay Packers at the Atlanta Falcons. Green Bay, did they shock us? Yes, they did. How the way they beat the Chicago Bears. Jordan Love was 15 for 27 and sealed the win for the Green Bay Packers over the Chicago Bears. Atlanta's defense stepped up against Bryce Young by committing 2 turnovers by their new acquisition safety in Jesse Bates. But in this matchup, the Green Bay Packers are 2-point favorites in ATL. And I really like the Falcons here. I understand Jordan Love played as great as he did against the Chicago Bears. But what we have to realize when it comes to the Falcons is that their defense has upgraded, and their defense is so much better than what the Packers played in the Chicago Bears last week. Okay, there's not going to be any stiff arming and trucking from Quay Walker like what he did in Chicago last week compared to what he's going to do this week. I think the Falcons are the play here. The Falcons are home. It's going to be loud down there. We're going to see how the defense is going to transpire for Jordan Love. Give me the Atlanta Falcons with Desmond Ridder being serviceable and potentially having Drake London go off. Give me Atlanta 22-20 over the Packers. The first place Raiders in the AFC West against the last place Buffalo Bills in the AFC East. The Raiders is getting 9.5 points in Orchard Park. And I'm going to be taking the Raiders here in this matchup against Buffalo. Josh Allen is way too injury prone. The Jets, for some reason, had 13 generated sacks against Josh Allen in the last 3 meetings, including the last one we just saw on Monday night. But also with the Raiders, let's just go ahead and just cut to the chase with this one. Jimmy Garoppolo wins. Whether he's in San Francisco, he's in New England, or he's with the Raiders as of currently. He just knows how to win. And my biggest problem with the Bills is that their offensive line is a big problem. What's going to happen with Max Crosby and potentially Chandler Jones crashing that entire offensive line? And Buffalo's defense, let's be for real. Garrett Wilson went off. What do you think Devontae Adams is going to do in this matchup, especially when if Jacoby Myers comes back after being in concussion protocol? What do you think they're going to do to those corners, especially Tre'Davious White and the other secondary players? What do you think is going to happen in a matchup? I think that the Raiders will keep this game close. I don't see a way that Raiders can come out with a victory, but I like the Buffalo Bills here. I think the Bills are too much of a good team. They want to get back to 500. I think this is the matchup where they do it. I just don't see them winning by 9.5 points. So give me the Buffalo Bills to win this game, but the Raiders cover. Bills win 30-23. Two teams that know each other very well played each other in the playoffs last year. Baltimore Ravens against the Cincinnati Bengals. Cincinnati is a 3.5-point favorite at home. 30% of the public is on the Bengals. I like Cincinnati to win this game and to cover this spread. Number one, there's too many injuries happening on the Ravens sideline. Tyler Linderbaum and also Ronnie Stanley are considered to be week to week with injuries they sustained from last week. Their running back core has took a ding with J.K. Dobbins being injured and out for the year with a torn Achilles. And including their back seven, where they're losing one of their star safeties in Marcus Williams with a torn pec. The Ravens, they're trying to establish more of Lamar, using him more of a passing game. I think it's in a wrong direction. You gotta utilize Lamar based off his legs. That's what he's known for. But in this matchup, we're just taking the Ravens because maybe the Bengals are just bad. How about just that the Browns have the Bengals number? Are we not really thinking about that? I mean, you know, the Ravens haven't really found a way to contain Joe Burrow and Jamar Chase ever since in 2021. So I like the Bengals here. I think the Bengals will win this game outright. I didn't even think they'll cover the spread. They might win by a touchdown. So give me Cincinnati to win 26-19 due to too many injuries on the Baltimore sideline. Next, we got the Seattle Seahawks at the Detroit Lions. Detroit is getting 6 points over Seattle at Ford Field. This bet is so difficult because when it comes to Seattle, we're getting them at their all-time low. And with Detroit, we're getting them at the all-time high because they beat the Chiefs. And this is Detroit's biggest win in like forever. I like Seattle here, +6. It's crazy. I understand. Are we not getting the same Geno that we got last year? And that's necessarily the case. But the Rams always give the Seahawks problems. They always have done that, even from last year and years prior. Detroit, they're not used to winning big games like this. I mean, the last big game they won was against Green Bay, which eventually kicked Green Bay out of the playoffs, but they didn't have to play another game after that until now against Kansas City. Detroit's defense is still suspect. Mahomes' wide receivers last week were dropping a lot of passes, which kind of saved Detroit. And let's not forget that the Chiefs converted a 3rd and 17 to go and get a touchdown against this defense. And Seattle, they were playing well in the first half, but they just got pretty much blanked in the second half because Aaron Donald and the boy genius Sean McVay were able to make adjustments, and Seattle just couldn't recover from it. I think in this matchup, Seattle will come back with a vengeance, and I think that Detroit will probably be on cloud 9 because, you know, everybody respects the Lions. I think this is a time where they actually pull back. So I like the Seahawks to win this game, and they are getting 6 points, and they are a public favorite of betting an underdog. I'm still going to take Seattle. Give me the Seahawks to win 30-27. AFC South battle of rookie quarterbacks, the Indianapolis Colts at the Houston Texans. Colts are -1 in Houston. I'm taking the Colts just on the safe side because the Colts haven't beaten the Texans since 2021. I think Anthony Richardson with a better offensive line than CJ Stroud will get it done. I think the Colts defense is better than the Texans. And Anthony Richardson, if it wasn't for a crucial interception, they could have beaten the Jacksonville Jaguars. So, and with the Houston Texans, they were getting bludgeoned by the Ravens the entire game. And it wasn't for their defense stepping up and giving CJ Stroud some time to get back in the ball game. He just couldn't do it. I'm going to take the Colts here. I think Anthony Richardson will outperform CJ Stroud. So I like Indy here. Give me the Colts to win 23-17 over Houston. The best game in the 1 o'clock window, it's the Kansas City Chiefs at the Jacksonville Jaguars. Kansas City is getting 3 points, and the public is 75% over Kansas City. I'm taking the Chiefs to win this game and to cover this 3-point spread. Jacksonville last week didn't show me anything. You're supposed to go in there and beat the Colts. They allowed too many fumbles. It took a while for Calvin Ridley to get his mind into the game. And also, when it came to Jacksonville, they were this close away from losing to the Colts from a DeForest Buckner touchdown. So, and the Chiefs, they're pissed. The Chiefs are pissed They want to go out and win this game. They know that their season is kind of on the line because when you start 0-2, you have a low percentage of getting to the playoffs. The last team I started 0-2 and got to the playoffs was the Cincinnati Bengals of last year. But the Chiefs are pissed. It's been 10 days once the game starts. It's been 10 days since they had that loss. They want to get everything into gear, and they want to go out and beat Doug Peterson and the Jacksonville Jaguars, and I think they will. I like the Chiefs to win this ball game and to cover that 3-point spread. Jags are a good team. I just don't think they're as good as people project them to be. Give me the Chiefs to win 27-20 over the Jags. Next, we have the Chicago Bears at the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. Tampa Bay, 3-point favorites at home against Chicago. I like Tampa to win this game and to cover. Justin Fields was bad in week 1. Maybe that's because the Packers know him very well after playing him a handful of times. But we really got to realize is that this Bucs defense, ladies and gentlemen, is for real. The problem with Chicago is that Justin Fields doesn't recognize pressure as well as we would hope him to be. And he has not really targeted DJ Moore that often last week. Now, DJ Moore knows Tampa Bay and their players, so maybe he can generate some offense by getting open. But if Justin Fields can't generate pressure, and the Bucs like to disguise their looks, so I really like the Bucs in this matchup. Everybody's going to be on Chicago. 63% are now on them. I'm taking the Buccaneers to win and to cover this spread. Give me the Tampa Bay to win 23-19. Before I go on, don't forget to leave a like button. Don't forget to subscribe and comment what teams you guys got going this week. Let me know, and we might agree or disagree, but let's get on with this. We have the Los Angeles Chargers against the Tennessee Titans. Tennessee +3 at home. And for this one, I'm taking the Titans to cover and to outright win and defeat the Chargers. Number one, Brandon Staley's offense is completely horrible. Okay, it's awful. They came and beat Miami. Miami scored 36 points against their defense. And then number two is that the Tennessee Titans, they love to run the ball, pound with Derrick Henry all the time. What's the Chargers' biggest weakness? They can't stop the run. The Tennessee Titans defense, it's good. They held the Saints to 16 points. And I think they're very, very underestimated. And let's not forget, last year these two teams have played and the Chargers won 17-14. Okay, so I really like the Titans here. I think the Titans are gonna win this matchup. It's an early start game for the Chargers because it starts at 10 o'clock Pacific time for them. I'm taking the Titans. I think the Titans will upset them. Give me Tennessee to win 17-14 over the Chargers. Entering the late games, we got the New York Giants at the Arizona Cardinals. Giants got shut out pretty bad against the Cowboys. Yeesh. And the Cardinals were this close away from being the Washington Commanders in Washington. But this matchup, the Giants are favored by 5.5. I think the Giants will rebound. Daniel Jones is a better player on the road than he is at home. And the problem for Daniel Jones is because when the lights are bright for him, especially at home in New York, he tends to shrink and shrivel. On the road, he's willing to take that the underdog mentality and take it home running. Let's not forget last year they beat the Jacksonville Jaguars on the road, and Jacksonville ended up making the freaking playoffs. But for this matchup, the Cardinals are not a good team. They do scare me because I can see them covering the 5.5. But I think the Giants, after getting bludgeoned to death by the Cowboys, 40-0, they're gonna try to burn the tape, get better, and try to get a win. I like the Giants in this matchup. Joshua Dobbs is an all right quarterback. I mean, I don't even know the stat line. I know he had 2 interceptions or 2 fumbles. He was awful, but the Cardinals were close enough to win that game. But I like this one. The Giants will win this game. Saquon will potentially go off. I like New York to win. Let's say 28-13. Get that bad tape of the Dallas game out of their mouth. NFC West matchup. San Francisco 49ers at the Los Angeles Rams. San Fran -8. I like San Francisco to win this game and to cover. San Francisco has always had the Rams' number. That was their biggest problem under the Sean McVay era, is that he can't beat the 49ers. I think Brock Purdy will flourish in this offense against the Rams because it's Aaron Donald and nothing. And even when they had Jalen Ramsey or Bobby Wagner or even Leonard Floyd, the Rams are still getting bludgeoned by the 49ers time after time after time after time. And for Matthew Stafford, he's throwing passes to people named Puka and Tutu. So in this matchup, I like San Francisco. San Francisco's the better team. Their D-line will crash on the Rams' offensive line. Give me San Francisco to win and cover the 8-point spread. San Francisco wins 24-15. Next up, the New York Jets at the Dallas Cowboys. Dallas is a 9.5-point favorite in this game. 79% of the public is on Dallas. I'm taking the New York Jets to cover this game, but I think the Dallas Cowboys win it outright. There's a glaring stat about Dak Prescott when it comes to scoring defenses, top scoring defenses. Dak Prescott, in his career against top 5 scoring defenses, he is 6-13, has a touchdown to interception ratio of 21-20, completion percentage of 62%, and also has a passer rating of 74.5. That is below average. Dak Prescott is not good against good defenses, and this Jets defense on Monday night was making Josh Allen look pretty bad, like a Nathan Peterman type quarterback. Both of these teams have really good defenses. I think this game is going to be a very low-scoring game. And also, let's keep in mind with some history, the Dallas Cowboys haven't defeated the New York Jets since 2007. So it's going to take some time here. I like the Jets to cover this game, but I think the Dallas Cowboys win it outright. Give me Dallas to win 16-13. Next, the Washington Commanders at the Denver Broncos. Denver is a 3.5-point favorite at home, and I'm taking the Broncos to win this game and to cover the spread. Sam Howell couldn't do much against Arizona last week. What do you think he's going to do against the Denver defense that really has made Jimmy Garoppolo kind of a little bit rattled? Not that much. I don't think Sam Howell's going to do that much. He was down a lot to Arizona, had to come back and win off of a rushing touchdown. I think that Denver wins this game outright. I don't see how in a way that Denver can be put on the same level as Washington. I can't see it. And number 2 is that Russell Wilson, he is getting better. Yes, 177 passing yards and 2 touchdowns, but it was the kicking woes of the Denver Broncos that did him in. And I think in this matchup, Denver will generate some defensive pressures on Sam Howell. They might even give him a scoop and score touchdown against this offense of Washington. I really like Denver in this matchup. I like Denver probably big in this matchup. Give me the Broncos to win 27-16 over Sam Howell and the Washington Commanders. Sunday Night Football, we got the Miami Dolphins at the New England Patriots. New England is a 2.5-point underdog at home against their AFC East rival. And in this matchup, I'm going with the Patriots to upset the Miami Dolphins. The Chargers defense is completely awful. You can run the ball on them and you can throw it over the top. We saw what Trevor Lawrence did to him last time in the AFC wildcard round against the Chargers. The Dolphins, yes, I understand their offense is really, really, really good. And they're able to put up 36 points. But New England, they're going to find a way defensively to probably shut down Tyreek Hill and Jalen Waddle. I'm not saying it's easy. I'm not saying that it is. But the reason why I like New England in this matchup is because their offense has gotten better. Yes, they were down to Philadelphia 16-0, but they rallied. Last year, if you saw the Patriots down 16-0, you would not thought they would rally back. You would think they would probably lose like 36-3. Okay, the defense is getting better for New England. The offense is getting better. Mac Jones is establishing himself potentially as a franchise quarterback with Bill O'Brien as his offensive coordinator. Belichick is still Belichick. This defense for Miami is very, very suspect. I like Vic Fangio, I do. But no Jalen Ramsey on the other side will be a problem for the Dolphins defense. And that's why you saw Keenan Allen and Mike Williams going off on their defense, because there's no corner other than Xavier Howard that's able to generate a stable, man-to-man coverage. So I like the Patriots to upset the Miami Dolphins in this matchup. Give me New England to win 23-21 over the Fins. The first game of the Monday night doubleheader, NFC South rivals, it's the New Orleans Saints at the Carolina Panthers. Carolina is an underdog by 3.5 over New Orleans. 81% of the public is taking New Orleans. I like the Panthers here to upset the Saints as a home underdog. Number one, Bryce Young is now at home. He doesn't have to deal with the opposing crowd like he did in Atlanta. It gets very loud down there. Also, the Saints haven't won in Carolina since 2020 when Teddy Bridgewater was the quarterback, and the Saints were actually good. Number two is that the Saints, their offense is kind of very suspect. Against Tennessee, they're only able to put up 16 points, a touchdown, and 3 field goals. Carolina's defense was able to hold the Falcons to 24 points, but the Falcons scored points off of Bryce Young's turnovers. If Bryce Young is able to clean it up, him and Frank Wright are able to figure out something to, gel against this Saints pass rush, I think the Panthers will be fine. You always take a home divisional underdog in this matchup, and that's what I'm just going to do. I know I didn't do it earlier, but for this one in the NFC South, I think the Panthers will win this game, and I think they'll upset the Saints. I like Carolina to win 19-16 over New Orleans. And the second game of the doubleheader, AFC North rivals, the Cleveland Browns at the Pittsburgh Steelers. Pittsburgh is a 2.5-point dog at home against Cleveland. I'm taking the Steelers to upset and defeat the Cleveland Browns. Cleveland always has Cincinnati's number, but Pittsburgh always have Cleveland's number, especially in Pittsburgh. The last time the Pittsburgh Steelers lost to the Cleveland Browns was in 2020 when Baker Mayfield was the quarterback. But in this matchup, we don't really know what Deshaun Watson is, okay? We really don't know. Joe Burrow was looking awful against that pass rush against Cleveland because they know him very well. But Deshaun Watson can only put up 24 points with that defense that was suffocating Burrow and the Bengals. Only 24, and one was a rushing touchdown. I mean, you get what you get. You win. You won the game. We get it. But against the Steelers have their back against the wall. They were embarrassed. Mike Tomlin will not have his team get embarrassed like that again. Yes, Cameron Hayward is out for going to miss some time because of a groin injury. But in this matchup, Steelers are the play. The Steelers don't see San Francisco that often, but they know Cleveland. I think they'll beat Cleveland, especially at home in Pittsburgh. So I like the Steelers here. Kenny Pickett's getting a lot of flack. I think he'll win this game and kind of prove that, what was happened against San Francisco is because their defense is really, really that good. Give me Pittsburgh to win 23-20 over the Browns. And that is it for my week 2 picks. Coming off of a winning week, let's get this money. Let's grind. I'll see y'all next week. Bet responsibly, please. That's all I can say. But go ahead, have fun. Happy week 2. I'll catch y'all later. This is Imari Jackson signing off. Peace.